It was a quiet summer evening sun when Jack and Lisa decided to spend their vacation in a cozy forester's hut. They dreamed of peace and relaxation from the hustle and bustle of the city, but something changed when they crossed the threshold of this forgotten place. From the very beginning of their stay in the cabin, Jack and Lisa noticed strange sounds coming from behind the walls. They were barely audible knocks and rough rustles that seemed extremely unnatural. The forest surrounding the cabin seemed alive and full of secrets. The first night Jack and Lisa went to bed, they heard footsteps on the wooden floor. It sounded like someone or something was walking through the cabin. Their hearts fluttered with fear, but they thought it might just be the wind or an animal that had entered the building. However, when morning came, Jack and Lisa found strange footprints on the floor. They were deep and bloody, as if someone or something seriously injured had walked past them. It was very disconcerting, but they decided to ignore it and continue their vacation. Over the next few days, the terrible events began again. They heard screams coming from behind the walls and felt cold breath on their necks. The hut seemed more and more terrifying to them, and the forest around them took on a mysterious appearance. One evening, as Jack and Lisa were sitting by the fire, they noticed a shadow pass by the window. They got up and went to the window, but saw nothing. They returned to the fire, but suddenly felt someone standing behind them. They turned and met the gaze of lifeless eyes. It was a forester who had once lived in this hut. His face was disfigured, and his skin was dry and peeling. He was silent, but his presence caused Jack and Lisa to feel cold fear. The forester slowly raised his hand and pointed to the door. They realized that he wanted them to leave the place. They took their things and ran out of the hut without looking back. As they ran through the terrified forest, they heard the screams of the forester fading in the distance. They knew he was still there, eternally damned, and their own lives were on the line. Since then, Jack and Lisa have never forgotten that terrible night in the forester's hut. They never returned to that place again, but the memories of what they saw stayed with them forever. Back in the city, Jack and Lisa told their story to friends and neighbors. Many people did not believe them, thinking it was just a fiction or a joke. But some people who knew about the legends associated with the forester's hut felt a cold shiver down their spine. Over time, the story of Jack and Lisa became a legend told to children around the campfire. The forester's hut became a place that people avoided because they believed it was cursed. The forester became a character in the horror stories that were told during nightly meetings. But no one has ever known what happened to the forester himself. Is he still wandering around the hut, or has he found peace in his cursed fate? This remained a mystery that added even more mysticism and horror to the forester's hut. Yes, Jack and Lisa left the cabin, but their fear and mystery did not end. They continued to have dreams of the forester cursing them from behind the grave hills. His lifeless eyes haunted their dreams, and his hoarse voice echoed in their ears. Jack and Lisa decided to turn to paranormal experts to learn more about the forester and try to break free of his curse. The experts performed cleansing rituals and summoned spirits, but they could do nothing. The forester was a strong and evil spirit that would not leave his place. Jack and Lisa decided that their only hope was to return to the cabin and confront the forester. They were going to uncover the secret of his curse and find a way to free themselves from his power. So they returned to the hut, charged with remarkable knowledge and tools to fight paranormal phenomena. They performed rituals and summoned a forester, ready for the final confrontation. The forester appeared in front of them, his eyes glowing with fire and his voice booming throughout the forest. He tried to intimidate them, but Jack and Lisa stood firm, ready to fight. They used their knowledge and tools to weaken the curse of the forester. They recited incantations and used sacred symbols to try to free themselves from his power. After a long battle, the forester began to weaken. His strength decreased and his face became more and more shapeless. Jack and Lisa did not stop. They continued to fight until their last breath. Finally, the forester disappeared, disappearing into thin air. Jack and Lisa felt a heavy burden lifted from their shoulders. They had won. They were free from the curse. Back at the cabin, Jack and Lisa felt calm and at peace. The forest near the cabin was no longer terrifying and mysterious. They could enjoy the nature and tranquility of the place again. The story of Jack and Lisa became a legend told around the evening campfire. They became heroes who were able to defeat the evil spirit and bring peace to the forester's hut. This is how this horrific story ended, but the memory of it remained in people's hearts. The forester's hut became a symbol of courage and will, and Jack and Lisa became an example of how even the most terrible obstacles can be overcome. And although the woodsman no longer wanders the hut, his name and his story live on. People remember him and how Jack and Lisa were able to face and defeat evil. This story reminds us that even in the darkest moments there is strength and hope for victory.